Hello again, everybody. Sebastian here with another Water Rooms video. For this one, we're going to be focusing on Artifacts Material Rate Stage 22. This strategy guide could also apply for Artifact Material Rate 20, because if you are struggling on 20 right now, it's going to be the same principle on 22. You're going to need kind of the same type of units to make sure that you can conquer both stages. So as you can see here by the map info that I'm showing you right now, the Grand Necropolis essentially comes out of the spawn point and he'll just sit here. You cannot target him. He will not get damaged if you decide to get cheesy and try to kill him ahead of time before he starts moving. That's not going to work. So you're going to have to go through the battle. Once he starts moving, that's when you can start targeting him and try to finish off the battle. What is different in this stages 19 to 22 is that he actually sacrifices some HP during the battle to summon the first lackeys, is what it's called. It's called the Flesh Offering. So he'll summon all these 10 units out, and then you're going to have to make sure that you block their path and at the same time that you damage them to get them out of the way. Now, these cursed lackeys, one of the downsides to them is that if you don't get rid of them in time before the Grand Necropolis calls the Unholy Requiem, then you'll see that lightning come right down and light up the lackeys, and they will just burst. They'll do a massive kind of AoE damage to adjacent units, and they'll just clear out the platform if you do not manage to get them out of the way. There are other things that we have to keep in mind when it comes to the Grand Necropolis is that during the battle, he'll do the devastating strikes. So you're going to have to make sure that you build your heroes with a little bit of HP to make sure that they can tank it. And that your healer is also going to be able to catch up to that. Make sure that then it tops him off after it pounds the ground, so that deals massive damage. So, and then the other thing too is that he has a Furious Pound when he approaches you at the end, and if he gets you, he will clear you out. There's no question about it. So you want to make sure that you kill him before he even does one at the end. So have enough firepower there at the end. So that's kind of everything that you see here. The last one is called the Bloodstone Resurgence, and essentially it's just he is going to be calling up units that have not been awakened. That's essentially these units, these platform units right here. So you're gonna have to make sure that you plug this side with at least one tank and one mage to clear all of this that is coming from this angle here that is not being released by the boss. There will also be some bone collectors that come out of this area here, and I do have to say that if you do not get rid of them, they will just merge with the boss and the boss will gain extra attack. His pounds actually become much harder, so you'll see me place a unit here to make sure that these units went down quickly enough to make sure that they did not bother us throughout the battle. So let's talk about the lineup that I'm going to showcase here for this and kind of give you an idea of what you're going to have to contend with when you start this battle. Okay, so whether it's 20 or 22, but here's what I'm going to do for 22. Here is the lineup that I decided to go with, and as you can see here, is that I did rely on the Northerners that I do have in the account. So I decided to go with Isolde, Oleg, and Aveline, because they do have the shield feature that they can make sure that they sustain the battle a little bit more. And one of the things that I like about Aveline for this stage is that she gives us that extra block. You put Bastion Ring artifact on her, then you're going to get an additional block. So she'll be she'll manage the lackeys very, very well. I am bringing here Mary because she can just slow things down for us, and she does apply the vulnerabilities. It is big. It is a key just to soften things up a little bit more. You see here in the down, I'm relying on my curse units. these are AoE damage dealers, so I'm gonna bring them. So yeah, I do have a Nora. We had the opportunity to get her, even though she was a limited time hero, along with Dahlia, and I do have my Vierna, so I'm gonna use her. Because I have the me, I'm gonna use her Lord bonus for this, and of course Hollow for the healing, because she does have the great coverage area, and not only that, she will provide us a little bit of rage boost. And like I told you, there is a hero that I decided to use to contend with those units that are coming from the top left-hand side, and that's going to be Micah. And the reason that I'm using Micah is because she's a magic damage dealer, and at the same time, she applies burning. So that also benefits us in terms of trying to bring those units down. All right, so I am going to show you the builds later, but the one thing that I can tell you ahead of time is that Hollow is in an invigoration set. So you're going to see me put Dahlia down first, and Hollow is going to get the invig out of this. Okay, so here we go. Place Dahlia. We place Hollow. So make sure my head is not blocking too much. And so now the lackeys are going to come towards us. And now I'm going to place Vierna here. She's still within Hollow's range, so she can start doing some damage. We're going to activate Dahlia's ultimate. Let's start bursting those flowers out, start doing some AoE damage. And the one thing that I want to do too is that I want to start keeping an eye on their health, so I activate Vierna's ultimate at the right time. Okay, so you can see me here. I placed the Soldi as soon as the flower was out, just to block things, and I am bringing Mary up top over here, so we can at least slow things down a little bit, and when her ultimate is ready, we're going to use it. So you can kind of see things getting melted here, and now I'm going to activate the Vierna's ultimate to get rid of as many of the lackeys as I can. Now, as you can see there, that pound really took some HP out of us, but we were able to contend with, and Hollow is built fast enough where she can start healing everybody around her. So here we go again. The boss sacrifices some HP, is going to release another wave of lackeys, and now we have to contend here with the units up top. So for that, I'm going to use my other AoE damage dealer, and that's going to be Anora. So there we go. Here goes Anora. Now, Anora, Oleg, and Hollow pretty much are going to take care of this side for me. So here's what I'm doing now. I'm gonna activate Dahlia to get things burst. And I'm going to activate Mary for the vulnerabilities. And now I'm just keeping an eye on things to make sure that I am ready with Vierna. Okay, here's what I decided to do for this particular stage, given the units that I had. Mary already did what I needed it to do to deal with the second wave. Okay, not only that, most of my heroes in Soul 1 are Arcana set. So the ultimates have already revved up. I already have as much damage as I'm going to do. So I'm going to call her back, and now I'm going to bring in Micah to deal with this spawn point up here to make sure that these units here do not get to the boss. So you're going to see me keep an eye on here, and as soon as Micah's ultimate is ready, I'm going to activate it because I want her to melt this as much as she can and as quickly as she can. Okay, so Micah's doing a great job. I'm going to show her part of her build too, but you can see here, she's not in range of a healer, but she's gaining health when she's doing damage. And that is because of her artifact. It is the Chalice. So that's another thing that I decided to do for this particular battle. So I'll show you the build at the end, but I'm just giving you kind of heads up as to why you're seeing green numbers come out of there. All right, so you can see here on top, Anora is doing her job. She's holding things off with Oleg. They're contending very well here. And now down here, again, we're going to repeat the process. We're slowing things down. Vierna is doing some damage. Aveline and Isolde are making sure that they can hold things up for me. The flowers are slowing the lackeys too, so that helps a lot. Her ultimate is now back to us, available to us, so we're going to activate it. We're going to try to do as much damage as we can, and when I feel I can activate Vierna's ultimate, I am going to do it. And now I was able to clear him fairly easy. So that is now done. Now here's the thing. I'm gonna let Micah finish things off over here. You can see the boss now approaching us. So here is something, if you have Ardea, or if you want to bring Valkyra for this battle, this is the step where if you want to, you can recall this unit out, bring her, and once everything is done down here, you can recall the tanks, and then you can place down Ardea and Valkyra here if you want, to make sure that they start doing damage to the boss and bring him down quick. You just have to make sure that they are built well enough so they take the boss down before he gets to you, because they are not going to last one shot. Okay, you have to make sure that they can take that boss down when you place them down before they get to you. All right, but given that now I can get Micah out of the way, and now I'm also going to bring Evelyn. I'm going to pull her back, and now Soldy's holding things back for me. Now it's a race against time. Like I told you, if we don't bring down the boss, he will do that pound and he will clear everything up. He will. That's how strong that ground pound is. So this we're going to be able to do enough damage here with the vulnerability here by Mary, and down here I do have the me. She's trying to help things, but the most of the damage was coming from Dahlia and Vienna. Okay, and so with that, we cleared it. Boss is down. GG. We open up the stage, and so now we can fast forward a little bit here, just to show you the kind of the damage that we were looking at in terms of what the heroes were able to do for the time that they were in the battle, in the map. So that's essentially how AMR 22 can be cleared. There are other instances, if you wanted to, where you can bring other type of units that you may have in your account. Greed is somebody that you can use if you want. Let me go back here to the game, because I can just kind of, from just the recommended lineups, just to give you a snapshot of things if you have this type of heroes. So of course, if you have Morrigan, she can take the slot of the me. It opens things up because she's an AoE damage dealer. You can see here, you can bring in somebody like Nocturne, you can bring somebody like Valkyra in to help you finish things off. I'm willing to bet here that he had Hatsut on the top with the Chalice again here, so she was taking care of those units up top for him there. And you can see that the Northerners are being relied upon here. Now, here is another one with Ardea. That's most likely because just as the boss was moving, you retract the tank and you get Ardea placed down, and she will start doing damage to the boss. Probably built well enough to make sure that it gets the boss down before he is able to approach you. Now, because of this northern-based composition here, he brought in Glacius. He will be very good for this. So if you have him, you can use him for this. You can use him for the side where I had Anora. That's what he would fit very, very well, because you can see his AoE damage dealers were at the bottom. Trusk, yes, Trusk will be very good for this because he can do some damage. He'll counter attack. He has damage reduction. So he's another unit that you can bring in if you wanted to. You can see here, this ER 999, he brought in his Comet. That's exactly what I would do too if I had Comet. Even if you have Warriors, you can actually bring him in if you want. Those two could really clear things up for you if those are the AoE damage dealers that you have in your account. And then you can see here that he had Morrigan, so Iona and Greed did enough to make sure that he was able to slow things down while doing some damage to the units. And so this composition here was good enough for him to get things clear. And he brought in Dolores just to give him that extra boost that he needed for the damage. Betty Hex here was taking care of the top left. So that's just kind of ideas that I can give you here from what we've seen in the Forerunner servers. Pay to win team here, or a very lucky summoner. So he was able to clear it with that. Wrath, yeah, you probably use him as kind of a hybrid, right? Here's the new hero in Xaris. He will soon come to the global server, so he does do very good in this dungeon because he does have AoE damage as well. So those are kind of the other ideas that I can give you in terms of the units that you can bring to this battle to make sure that you are going to be able to complete it. So now let me finish here with the builds, because I'm willing to bet that you're interested in what I decided to settle on. For Micah, I just give her an Infernal Roar set, Ichor Chalice to make sure that she could gain a little bit of health after the pounds, to make sure she did not die on me. Okay, now this is an endgame dungeon, so you're gonna see some type of endgame stats. So it looked like the minimum here was at least 14,000 attack. If you can get her attack boosted a little bit more, I would suggest doing that. Speed, critical damage, that's always a big thing, to make sure that she can do enough damage to take those units out and they do not get to the boss at all. Nora. So I wanted to make sure that Nora could take care of the left-hand side, top left-hand side on herself by herself very well. So you can kind of see that my target goal in terms of the attack was around 17.5 to 18. That's when I started to feel comfortable. So that's what I gave her. Decent speed, decent critical damage, just to make sure that she could do the damage that I needed her to do. For her artifact, I have a Tear of Twilight, a fully leveled Tear of Twilight on her. So that's what I decided to give her. One of the things that I have to say, that at least in this account, I did not have her fully skilled. Bierna with, again, a Soulbound Arcana set. She did have a full Tear of Twilight level, and like I told you, I was trying to shoot for the 17.5 to 18,000 attack, and then critical damage where at all possible. Now, this set that I have did have speed in it, but remember, Bierna does not need it. So if you can take out some speed from some pieces and get some more critical damage, then that's what I would suggest you do as well. So Vierna here and Dahlia are both somewhat fully skilled. You can see here for Dahlia, again, I tried to get to that 17.5 to 18 threshold by sacrificing some critical damage. Gave her a little bit more speed to make sure that she laid down those flowers as quickly as she could. And there's like 260 critical damage. But you saw that she handled it very well. If you can do... if you can add a little bit more critical damage, go ahead and do that. It'll make things a lot easier. I was just kind of trying to find that happy zone, you know, what could do it? What would be the stats that could do it? And for this example, I did use her Orb of Ruin, but it's not level further than 10. Okay, Demi, she didn't have a whole lot of play in this. Remember, she just came into the last round, just in case I needed a little bit of damage. So I just kind of give her the Infernal Roar set and make sure that I got to the target area for attack that I needed, 265 critical damage, and make sure that she was crit cap. And like I said, Tome of Horror was the artifact that I gave her. And that's it for the mages, I think. So now let me go on to the healers. Here is Hollow, the Euphoric Orb. If you want to, if you don't need the speed and you don't want the speed, so I would say if you can get everybody to 400 speed, you don't need the extra 30 speed that she'll give you. If you want to use something else, you know, you can. What I would suggest, though, is to make sure that you don't use something like Tia's Bomb, because that could heal your hero too fast, so you won't get that rage boost, as much rage boost as she's giving when her ultimate is going off. So it's kind of a balance. So you pick the artifact that you think is going to help you the most for this, okay? But I like the Orb on Hollow. That is my favorite artifact for Hollow. So you can see here, kind of tanky, 26,000 HP, 10,000 attack, but I made sure that she had a lot of speed. That's what I focused on, 523 speed, and also her rage regeneration. So she has a bangle that is rage regen, an amulet is attack speed, because those are the stats that are really wanted on her to make sure that she could come back to her ultimate quickly, so she can then boost my heroes as well. Let me go to the, let me toy around here to try to get to the tanks. My tanks all had Guardian sets. Oleg here, 92,000 HP, 7,000 defense. Everything else kind of doesn't really matter, because you just want to make sure that he's just a brick. And the Bastion Ring. Evelyn, again, a Bastion Ring. Not a fully level Bastion Ring, but she had a Bastion Ring. Again, Guardian set, 107,000 HP. Some speed for the stuns, that always helps. And some rage regeneration. A Soldi, Guardian set, low level Bastion ring, but just get that extra block. 77,000 HP, 7,600 defense. Some speed, 326. So that's kind of what you can see for tanks. Mary. So here's where I realized why I wasn't seeing Mary go as fast as I wanted her to. And that is because I accidentally removed her weapon. So this is something that I would suggest too. Always check to make sure your heroes are fully geared. But what I was really going for was the Madness Spring set to make sure that she could come to her ultimate back as quickly as she could if I was going to leave her in the field as long as I could. So all I focused on for her was make sure that she had decent HP, but she had attack speed and she had 9M Samsara. One of the other things that I thought about here after I had completed the battle, because I did have her in the Madness Spring set, is that if you wanted to get sneaky and you're struggling, let's say, with Vierna doing enough damage to bring everybody down, you could put her in an Invigoration set that is a little bit tanky and has a lot of attack speed, and then use that Invig to hopefully go into Vierna, right? For example, in my run. And then things will clear up a little bit faster for you. And then you can use her however you feel like you need to use her based on how the battle is going on. But that is exactly how I decided to use Mary for this. That is exactly how I decided to clear AMR 22 in this account. So I hope that kind of this idea of how to combat the stage helps you, what type of stats you're going to need to clear things up, and I kind of gave you also an overview of what other type of heroes that you can use that might fit your account better, especially if you have somebody like Komet and Vorius, and you have like a Cyrus just to boost your rage as much and as quickly as possible in this battle to come in. But don't ignore the Northerners, especially the tanks. Those are the guys that are really going to help out in this battle. So that'll do it for this video. If you have any questions, please post them down below. And as always, if you appreciated the content of this video, please hit like and subscribe on your way out. And I will see you all in the next Watch Your Own video.
Kill the soul, reanimate the body. Their souls are mine to take.